The train screeched to a halt, and the crowded platform erupted in a chaos of footsteps, voices, and hurried goodbyes. Among the sea of strangers, a weary woman named Claire clutched her handbag tightly, trying not to lose herself in the throng. She had come to the city on business, but her heart was still heavy from wounds that even time had failed to heal. She moved with a distant gaze, unaware that fate was about to interrupt her solitude in the most unexpected way. Out of nowhere, a small hand tugged at her sleeve. Startled, Claire turned and found a little girl, no more than 7 years old, standing before her. Her dark hair was messy, her cheeks flushed from the autumn chill, and her wide, curious eyes locked onto Claire's. Without a word, the child pressed a folded piece of paper into Claire's palm. Before Claire could ask anything, the girl gave a shy smile and disappeared into the crowd like smoke carried by the wind. Claire stood frozen. She glanced at the note, uncertain whether to open it. 1,000 questions swirled in her head. Who was that child? Why give her, a stranger, this piece of paper? But before she could unfold it, Claire felt a presence behind her. A man's voice, deep and steady, said softly, "You should read it carefully, it may not be meant only for you." She turned to see a tall man with kind but sorrowful eyes. He looked as if he had seen battles life had mercilessly thrown at him, and his gaze was fixed not on her but on the paper in her trembling hands. "What do you mean?" Claire asked cautiously, but the stranger only gave a faint, knowing smile. With her heart pounding, Claire unfolded the note. The words, written in a child's uneven handwriting, sent a shiver down her spine. "Don't give up. She still loves you. You just have to forgive." Her breath caught. The message pierced her heart because it touched a wound she thought she had buried. A year ago, Claire had fallen out with her only sister, Anna. Harsh words were exchanged, bridges burned, and silence had stretched between them like a canyon no one dared to cross. Days turned into months, and Claire's pride kept her from reaching out. But deep inside, the guilt and longing gnawed at her. And now, out of nowhere, a child's note echoed the very words Claire had been yearning and fearing to hear. Her eyes darted back to the stranger. How could she, that girl, how could she know? Claire's voice cracked. The man's eyes softened. Because sometimes, children carry messages that adults are too blind to see. And sometimes, strangers recognize the pain because they've lived it themselves. He told her his story as the train roared away behind them. His name was Daniel, a man who had once ignored a note left by his dying father, words of forgiveness that he had been too stubborn to accept until it was too late. That regret, he confessed, haunted him still. "When I saw that girl hand you the note," he said, "I knew it wasn't just for you. It was a reminder to anyone who's carrying bitterness. Time isn't as generous as we think." Claire felt tears stream down her cheeks. The note now seemed heavier than any piece of paper should be. It carried weight, the weight of love, regret, second chances. She clutched it as if afraid it might vanish. That night, Claire sat alone in her hotel room, staring at her phone. Her thumb hovered over Anna's number for what felt like hours. The fear of rejection battled against the desperate hope for reconciliation. Finally, with a deep breath, she pressed call. The line rang. Once, twice. Then came the familiar voice, soft, hesitant, but unmistakably her sister's. "Claire." The sound cracked something open inside her. For a moment, neither spoke, only listened to each other's breathing. And then, with trembling honesty, Claire whispered, "I'm sorry, I don't want to lose you. Can we start over?" There was silence, followed by the sound of Anna's quiet sob. "I've been waiting for this, Claire. I never stopped loving you." The sisters talked through the night, unraveling knots of pain, stitching together broken trust with fragile words of forgiveness. It wasn't perfect, it never could be. But it was a beginning. The next morning, Claire returned to the station, searching desperately for the little girl. She wanted to thank her, to ask her why she had chosen her. But the child was nowhere to be found. When she spotted Daniel again on a nearby bench, he simply shook his head knowingly. "Sometimes," he said gently, "messengers appear only once. But the message, that's what stays." Claire never saw the girl again. But she kept the note, folded neatly in her wallet, as a reminder of that day when a stranger and a child conspired to heal her heart. Years later, when her own daughter asked why she always carried a tattered piece of paper, Claire smiled through tears and said, "Because this little note saved me from losing someone I loved." And it taught me the most important truth of all: don't wait to forgive. Tomorrow isn't promised. The girl had vanished. The stranger had walked away. But the message, "Don't give up, she still loves you," remained eternal, echoing through Claire's life and everyone she shared it with. And perhaps, just perhaps, that was the secret the stranger had known all along. Forgiveness is the bridge that turns strangers into guides and pain into healing.